I told my brother he is no brother of mine anymore. My brother Rob and I were close growing up. Same bedroom, same school, same group of friends until I was 14. I would have done anything for him. I think that is the part I keep coming back to at night. I would have done absolutely anything for that man. When my wife got pregnant with our first child last year, Rob was one of the first people we told. He cried when we told him. Real tears, not the polite, brief kind. He hugged us both and said he could not wait to be an uncle, and I believed him completely because I could see it in his face. And I stood in my kitchen watching my brother cry happy tears about my baby, and I genuinely thought this is what family is supposed to look like when it is working. 4 months later, I found out Rob had been telling people the baby was not mine, not implying it carefully among people he trusted, not raising it as a private question, stating it as settled fact to anyone in our family who gave him an opening. He had been saying it to cousins, to an uncle I barely see twice a year, to our mother's book club friends apparently, because my wife's name came up at some dinner, and Rob felt moved to share his assessment. His assessment was that my wife had been sleeping with someone else, and that I was either too blind or too trusting to see it. He had apparently been saying all of this for at least 6 weeks before any of it found its way back to me. It found its way back through my cousin Aiden, who pulled me aside at a family barbecue with the uncomfortable look of a man who has been asked to carry something that is not his to hold. He asked me if I was doing all right with everything. I did not know what everything meant. He told me. I drove to Rob's flat that same evening. He was in when I knocked. He looked genuinely surprised to see me at his door, and then, when he looked properly at my face, he looked like a man who had known this was coming and had just been waiting to find out when. I asked him why. I did not raise my voice. I asked him why he had been telling people my wife had cheated on me and the baby was not mine. He said he had only been expressing concern about me. I told him expressing concern did not involve telling our mother's book club acquaintances that my wife was carrying another man's child. He said he felt that people had a right to know. I told him people had a right to know absolutely nothing about my marriage that I had not chosen to share with them. He said he was worried about me and had only been trying to protect me. I told him he was not worried about me. I told him being worried about me would have meant coming to me privately, in person, looking me in the eye, and saying whatever he thought he had to say. It would not have meant working his way through our entire extended family for 6 weeks while I remained completely unaware. He said he had not known how to bring it to me directly. I told him he had found a way to bring it to approximately 15 other people without much difficulty. He had nothing to say to that. I told him I was done. I told him what he had done to my wife, who had never once done a thing to him, who had stood in our kitchen and cried with him about our baby, was not something I was able to absorb and carry on from. I told him he was not my brother anymore, not in any way that still carried weight or meaning. He was welcome to share that with the book club too if he liked. He called 6 times that week. I answered once. He said he was sorry and had been wrong and could we please sit down and talk about it. I told him that talking required something to build on, and he had spent 6 weeks taking a wrecking ball to the foundation, and I needed him to understand that sorry does not fill that kind of hole. My wife and I had our daughter in October. She is perfect. My mom came to the hospital. Rob did not. I'm not sure he knows he was not invited. Subscribe for more stories.